Okay, so we have goals. The next big one is what role are you going to play? Now, we can all talk about the technical roles in your sports. So when we talk about roles, there are two dimensions to it. One is the technical role. So that is, if you're a halfback, what do you got to do on the field?
Direction.
You've got to direct the play. You're a playmaker. You're going to carry the ball. You're going to handle the ball a lot. You're going to get highly involved. Okay? So you have your technical role. And as an example, do you want your prop doing that? Do you want your prop doing the same role as a halfback? No. That's a disaster. Okay? So, as well as that technical role being extremely well defined, what other role do we need to define? What do you think?
Leadership.
Okay, it could be leadership, so it could be anything to do, it could be on field, but it could also relate to the off-field roles, and we define them as what we call a non-technical role. Okay, so how do you add value beyond just the number on your back? You know, we've had a lot of discussions with AFL teams about this. So when they replace a player, you're not just replacing that technical skills and abilities of that player. What other impact does that player have on the field? You know, there were some great examples this morning. What else in terms of what might be some other? We've got communicators. So he communicates. What other technical or non-technical roles might we suggest players could perform?
So an attractor.
What's that one?
He's got to be an attractor up. His role, he'd be a direction.
Okay, yep, provide so he can, or even if it's not him, we're talking about in general, it could be leadership. What other roles might your players play?
It could be just someone who just does the hard work and everyone knows that and respects that.
Okay, yeah. Their role could just be that hard worker, and what we could also define them as is what we call a pace setter. So I noticed a few similar, anyone else notice a few, the same name cropping up downstairs on those strength? Whose name was that? So maybe part of his role is to set that standard. Okay. You can have people that are more or less supportive than others, and that can be part of their role. To talk to their team members, to support them, to encourage them, to help with the motivation of other players. Okay, but what we're suggesting once again is that role has to be well defined. And when we look at roles, you can actually break it up in terms of these three broad categories. You're going to have action-related roles, so those that are very good at setting the challenges, always out in front setting the standards, more practically orientated, fast-paced, consistent, relentless with their sport relationship roles, and then you have some thinking roles. So that's just a broad definition, and we can then further break that down. Okay. So how we use this is that when we have a player who, I'll give you an example, so the captain of the team, the coach wanted this player to be the type of captain who, talkative, loud on the court, always present for the key players in the game, the go-to person. That just wasn't part of how this player liked to conduct themselves. Okay, it wasn't part of their natural sort of personality or behavioural style. So the coach wanting the player to be something that she wasn't became a significant adaptation. So it's like the coach saying to you, so what, you're right-handed, but today, or the role that you're going to play on the team is to play left-handed. How effective would you be? Not very, right? Okay, so whenever you ask someone to do something that doesn't come naturally to them, they might be able to do it to a degree, but it will create a level of stress and pressure for them. We've noticed that a lot of the teams that we work with. So when you give players roles, it has to be one which suits them. Okay, it's got to be one which fits with how they like to conduct themselves. Now we can make some adaptations, but in the heat of the moment, when we put under significant stress and pressure, people will revert back to what they always have done well. Okay, their natural self, if you like.